Hey and welcome everyone to our video tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to turn your Excel data into an interactive searchable report for the web, where we can filter data using some drop downs. We even have a date range, and underneath that, we can even see a visual representation of our data using a combination chart where I can click inside a legend to show and hide elements in real time. Underneath the chart, we have all of our data where we can perform some basic grouping and even do calculations across the entire data set. So if you have a need to build out an interactive report and bring your data online and make it either publicly available or password protect the data using a secure login screen, then this video is perfect for you. In just a few minutes, you will see how using Caspio's low-code platform, we can develop something like this in a few minutes and publish it to the web. I hope you'll join me. So let's go into Caspio and let's see how we can develop this entire interactive report. Once you've logged inside your Caspio account, you're going to begin by creating a brand new application. From there, you're going to see two options on how you can begin. You can start by importing data. So if you have some data in Excel, you can quickly import that data into your account and build your applications on top of your data. So once you begin this way, the next step is very simple. Give your application a name, locate the file you want to import, and then follow the on-screen instructions until you're done with the import. I've already imported my file ahead of time, but it should take you a few minutes. And once you're done with the import, you're going to be able to see this application listed here on the home screen. The one that I'm going to use in the video today is this one here called Custom Sales Report. From here, what you want to do is open up your application, go directly to Tables, and you should be able to locate that newly imported Excel file. From here, I can open up my table and be able to see the same exact data in Excel that I had now available inside an online database. I can click on each cell to make modifications. I can go to table design, and on table design, I can rename fields to something else. I can introduce new fields, and I can even change the data type of each one of my fields depending on what kind of data I want to store inside the database. For anyone looking to perform automations on the table level, you can go to Triggered Actions, create a new trigger, and you can run actions on insert of data, update and delete. So if you wanted your tables to communicate based on the event that happens inside my sales table, I can perform a different action in a completely separate table. If you want to learn more about triggered actions and automation, we have plenty of videos available on our YouTube channel. So take a look at those if you wish to learn more. To go back out to the tables menu, click on the tables object once again. I'm not going to save any changes. And once again, there's my table. Now, to build that interactive searchable report and publish it to the web, what we need to do is navigate over to DataPages. DataPages are Caspio's interfaces that eventually embed into a website. That's how your website visitor is going to interact with your application. And to build a data page, it's very simple. You click on the button up here, and that's going to launch Caspio's point-and-click data page wizard. Your applications are going to be comprised of many data pages. It just depends on the scope of the application. For example, we can build input forms, we can build update forms, password recovery, we can build many different types of layouts for reports, calendars if you're looking to build maybe appointment tracking system or event management, many different types of charts. If you're looking to do KPIs, dashboards, you can combine these charts together on a single web page to get that immersive look and feel of a dashboard. And you can see we have lots of different charts that we can create. And finally, if you're a bit more tech savvy, you can even create some HTML data pages. In the video today, we're going to focus on reports, and I'm going to create this combination chart and report. If you look at the illustration underneath, this is essentially what we're creating: the ability to search, see the results, and drill into details. Let's click next. The first thing that we need to do is select our data source. So when you're done with the import of that file, you should be able to locate it inside this dropdown and select that table as your data source because we wish to output the data from that database table. You can give your data page a name. This is for your eyes only. I'm just going to call this sales report. Styles are all about the aesthetics, the look and feel of your forms, colors, layouts. Caspio gives you some preloaded styles that you can choose from to match the look and feel of your corporate identity. But if you want to fully configure your own style in terms of colors and layout, you can go to this object for styles. I am going to choose this one called Caspian. Localizations are all about regional settings. Date format, currency, it just depends where this application is going to reside, on what region. I am going to stick with English. Now, in the future, if you wish to password protect this report, you're going to have to create an authentication object and then restrict access and select your authentication object. In the video, we're not going to be doing that, so I will disable my checkbox and continue. And then all you have to do is simply follow the instructions of the DataPage wizard. So for example, do you need to have a search form? Yeah, let's have a search form. I want the results to appear underneath the search form, and I want to display the results on the initial load. What that means is when you load the browser, you're going to be able to see the search form and the results directly underneath. Let's continue. And now it's asking me, what fields do you wish to use in the search form? It's completely up to you how many search fields you want to have. I'm going to select maybe region, country, item type, and maybe order date. Again, you can include as many search fields as you want. Let's continue. Now what we need to do is configure the properties of each one of my search fields. The first thing that I'm going to do for my date field is I'm going to add what's called a new criteria from this dropdown. New criteria allows me to have two additional criteria. I'm going to set the logical operator to and because I want criteria 1 and criteria 2. And for criteria 1, I'm simply going to modify my label, add a space, and just put additional maybe from in parentheses so it's clear on the web that this is a from date. I want to do a comparison type greater than or equal to. And then for criteria 2, I'm just going to put another space here in parentheses 2, and then I will say less than or equal to. Now what I would like to do is have all of my fields appear in this single row. I don't want them to be stacked one on top of the other. And to do that, we're going to click on the section element. And I simply want to say, okay, show me 5 columns. And I want the labels to appear on top of my fields. Very simple, very easy. Next, I'm going to go to my region field. And I'm going to turn that into a dropdown. I will select both custom values and lookup table. For my custom values, I want to type in any region. Make sure you delete the value. You don't have this existing in your table. Okay, so that needs to carry a null value. And then the lookup table, my table is already going to be selected, and you can see how my region field is selected for me automatically. Let's go to the next field, country. And now what you're going to see is please confirm. The table you have selected for this lookup is large and may slow performance. Would you like to generate a summary lookup table for this field? So Caspio is smart enough to recognize if your data set is large, we can automatically create a lookup table on your behalf. So what you do is simply say yes. And now in the background, if you go back to your tables, you will see an additional table created as the lookup table for region. Next, we have country. I'm going to do the same thing, drop down. We'll do both. I'm just going to put in any country. Again, make sure you delete the value. You're not really looking for that. That needs to carry a null value. And then the lookup table, once again, you can see how automatically the country field is selected. Let's go to item type. You will once again see that same pop-up. Yes, go ahead and create a lookup table for countries. And then we have item type. Again, I will choose drop down, both, any item type, delete the value, and lookup table is automatically going to select the item type for me. And once again, if you click on another field, you will see that same pop-up. Go ahead and create an additional table for me. Now that the search fields are completed, we can move on to the next step. And the next step is simple. What fields do you wish to use in the results page? So let's have maybe region, country, item type, order date. And I also want to include all of my numerical values. So units sold, unit price, cost, revenue, cost, and profit. So these are the fields I wish to include in the results page. We're going to continue. Now it's asking me, should the end user or the website visitor have the ability to modify the data in a tabular report? That part is completely up to you. I don't recommend it if it's publicly facing, but if you do password protect this report, then yes, I do recommend it. Maybe if you want, you can enable a couple of these checkboxes for them to perform modifications. In my video today, we're going to leave all of these unchecked. And now we need to configure the properties of all of our results page fields. What I could do is I could enable region grouping if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's have a collapsible group. And let's have the group be expanded by default. Next thing that I want to do is go to all of my numerical values for units sold. If I want to make any modifications here, I could. We have unit cost. one thing I might do for unit price and unit cost, I may change the formatting to be a currency. And it's up to you if you want to include digits after the decimal. I'm just going to disable that. Same thing for unit cost. I'm just going to go to custom, change the currency, and modify my digits. Total revenue. So just repeat the steps for each one of your fields because it is a currency and we want to display that with a dollar symbol and the formatting of the value. So once again, we're going to choose custom, currency, 0, total cost, custom, currency, and 0 digits. And finally, total profit, custom, currency, and 0 digits. Now, if you want to perform calculations across the entire data set and also on group level, what you can do is you can insert what's called totals and aggregation, which will appear at the very bottom, and now choose what fields you want to make your calculations on. So for example, I want to be able to know total units sold. I want to know unit cost, total revenue, total cost, and total profit, and give me the entire sum. You can also add your own custom formula if you'd like, but I will use the default formula sum. Of course, you can also perform an average, min, max, count, and also count non-blank items. When done, go ahead and click next to continue. It's asking me how many records do you want to display per page. This part is completely up to you. You can also sort data if you want to, and even in the advanced tab, if you want to download the data in a PDF format. For example, I could make this landscape and I can modify some other features of the PDF. I can include a header and footer if I wanted to, maybe my logo that appears after I download the file. So again, all of these configurations are entirely up to you. You have a lot of settings here on how you can change the appearance of the results page. Let's continue. And now it's asking me to create my chart. You can play around and dabble with all of these charts if you want to, depending on your need. But in my use case, in my live example, I chose to go with a combination chart. So I will select that, click next. And as you can see, we have a lot of settings here that we can enable on the charts. Now for the x-axis, I want this to be the order date, and I want to group my data on a date rollup, and I want to group based on month. So I want to do all of my calculations on a monthly basis on the chart, and for my axis title, I will simply just put month. For my y-axis, I will go ahead and choose maybe total profit, and for value, I will select the total profit, and I will maybe use a column chart type, sum, and that's all I'm going to do. Now, I do want to introduce one more y-axis, so I will insert an additional y-axis. Let me move this one down, and I also want to have another value associated with that second y-axis that I created. So for my second y-axis, why don't we do average sale, and then for value, we're going to select maybe total profit, but this time I want to maybe use a line chart, and I want to do an average. I can also choose a marker, so let's maybe choose a diamond and continue. Here we can change some of the settings and properties for a chart. Let's continue. And now you can choose to enable a details page if you wish to see additional information per sale, or you can disable the details page. And now I can click preview to see what I've created. So if I click on the preview button, we have that same exact report that we created earlier in the video that we looked at during the live demo. And now what I can do is simply just choose my region, my country. I can do a date range. I can click inside the legend to show and hide elements. And we have all of our data grouped based on region, where I can collapse these regions if I wanted to. And I can see all the calculations underneath my report. If you're happy with the way this report functions, you can go back to Caspio. And from here, you can simply just click finish to save. And that's how easy it is to build a very simple report that allows somebody to search data, do a date range, see a combination chart, and of course, see all of the data directly underneath. Now, to publish this report to the web, all we need to do is click on the deploy link, enable deployment status, and then Caspio is going to give you 4 different deployment methods. The embed model is by far the most popular. All you have to do is copy this snippet of code and paste that code into just about any CMS available today, because Caspio is compatible with Webflow, Yola, Squarespace, WordPress, just about any one of these if you're using for your website You can also publish directly through Caspio if you don't have a website. We also have an iframe and .NET for SharePoint. But once you copy this embed code, we can close this screen. For the purpose of my video, I'm going to show you how to embed this into a Weebly website. So let's go to Weebly and let me show you how we can embed this. Weebly, just like most of the CMS platforms available today, is a very simple, easy to use drag and drop website builder. You'll have your canvas in the middle. You create your web pages. And for this web page called Manage Contacts, I will drag over the embed code widget inside my canvas. And inside that widget, I will paste my Caspio deploy code. I will hit publish. And now once I go to my web page, I will be able to see my search form, my combination chart, and all of my data directly underneath. And within just a couple of minutes, I was able to build this interactive report without any coding whatsoever, deploy this to my website, and now anybody who goes to my website will be able to see this report seamlessly embedded. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll give Caspio a try, and I can't wait to see what types of applications you will develop. If you do, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much, and have a good day.